You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
What you eating?
This man just snuck in a record button on me. You see that?
I literally said, let me press record. You said, all right, that's what you said.
Nah, you said something about start recording or finish recording or I'll do this after recording. And the next thing you know, I just heard what you eating. Like, dang, bro. You know, I thought we had a no eating on the podcast policy.
Do we?
I think it's unofficial, but it is what it is.
There we go. It's unofficial. If it's unofficial, then it become official. Then, you know.
You know what is official?
The Pro Bowl vote.
Pro Bowl vote is official. And we got a lot to get into. Y'all know what time it is? It's Go Time Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Kadeem got internet issues. That's just a heads up. So if we start chopping up and looking like we're doing a robot over here, you know what I'm saying? Work with us.
I've been in your jungle. You should dance with the robot as well. Or was just kind of like a. I'm trying to think what it'd been for your time. Would it be Soul Train, like all that kind of stuff. And
you used to watch Soul Train, Kadeem?
No, but I've seen an American TV show and have enough American family to know what Soul Train is.
Bro, I could see you in the Soul Train line. It's like it's perfect. Like you not really dancing good, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, look at this guy. But you enjoying yourself though, so I could really see that.
I used to dance when I was younger, like dancing shoes. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, you remind us all the time on the podcast, Kadeem. You say how you came out to the dun 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 Fat Man Scoop, Brooklyn Clan, or
yeah,
Timberland. Yeah, you tell us.
Yeah, see, I was about that life, so I'd have been fine on Soul Train. Like, did a hustle. Like, I could have done a hustle. You know.
So you got on your tour jersey, Kadeem. Let the people know who may not be privy to the Pro Bowl vote of 2023, I guess, selection. What's going on, man?
So the Miami Dolphins have 3 players selected to the Pro Bowl. Prior to the official release, we knew that Tua won the fan vote. So, cool, Tua wins the fan vote. Everyone expects Tua to be named a quarterback for the AFC team for the Pro Bowl. And when it gets released, he does not make the Pro Bowl list. 3 players on it are Tyreek Hill, Teron Armstead, and Xavier Howard. And even Xavier Howard said, yeah, I didn't expect to be here. I had an okay season. So no Tua, but what was interesting was that when asked about it on Wednesday, Tua was like, I don't really care because I don't expect to play in it. Obviously thinking...
he didn't really say it like that. You kind of watered it down for the people.
I was paraphrasing. Apologies.
That was a one-sided paraphrase too, because he really did say it would be really cool if I did get elected to the Pro Bowl, but I hope not to play in it, is what he said. Kadeem trying to make it be like, man, I don't care about the Pro Bowl.
Well, given that Xavier Howard made the Pro Bowl, do you really think we should care about the Pro Bowl? Like,
yeah, I don't appreciate Xavier Howard making the Pro Bowl, but I don't appreciate Tua being left out of the Pro Bowl. For those who don't know, Josh Allen made a Pro Bowl, Patrick Mahomes made a Pro Bowl, and Joe Burrow made the Pro Bowl. I thought Tua should have went in over Joey Bullets. It's cool. I'm not tripping. The one I'm really tripping about, though, Kadeem, is Jalen Waddle. I'm like, no, we not waddling in the Pro Bowl. We didn't waddle ourselves into the Pro Bowl. So yeah, man, I was disappointed in Jalen Waddle not making the Pro Bowl, and it kind of goes to who we got at receiver. We got Devontae Adams. We have, I'm about to say just Jefferson, but he's in the NFC. We got Devontae Adams. We have Jamar Chase. We have, dang, maybe I should pull this list up. Who else we got, Kadeem?
I will get it up, and if you're watching on YouTube, there probably will be a full list of who made the Pro Bowl. So I'll break it down the full list.
The receivers, just receivers for now.
As receivers, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, and Jamar Chase.
There it is, right there. Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase barely got in. Jamar Chase barely got in, Kadeem. And this is why I was kind of sour about Jamar Chase getting in. Because Jalen Waddle arguably has better numbers than Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase missed like 3 or 4 games. I'm like, wait a minute. If Joe Burrow got in over Tua, and you know Tua missed missed 3 games earlier this season, let's go to Tua's numbers and let's go to Joey Bullett's numbers. All right, I don't want to start at picks. That's unfair. So we'll go to touchdowns. Joey Bullets has 31 touchdowns. Tua has 24. Cool. We understand Tua missed 3 games. I still liked it, but it's cool. We'll keep it fair. Joey Bullets has 38 or 3,900 yards passing. Tua has 3,300 yards passing. 600 yards difference. If it's just the numbers, I get it. I understand it. I'm not tripping. But I thought the Pro Bowl was more than just numbers, because if it is just numbers, you know you missed 3 games, you're out of there. You're grits. You're not going to make it. But to only be 600 yards behind Joe Burrow and a few touchdowns behind him, I'm like, yo, I think Tua had a better season. He was the MVP candidate. Joe Burrow wasn't even talked about in the conversation. Joe Burrow wet the bed the first 3 games, but not throwing that on this man's name. This is where I'm really tripping at, Kadeem, because Joe Burrow's receiver got in and he missed 3 or 4 games. I thought he missed 4 games, but Jamar Chase numbers, he has 881 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, chill, has 1,100 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. How, Craig? Someone tell me how. Someone tell me how Jamar Chase got in with 880 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns, and Jalen Waddle had 1,100 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. I need to hear this.
I genuinely think it's a name recognition thing. You know, because if you look at the full list in general, like from what I've seen of Josh James and Derrick Henry so far this season, they've been good, but I wouldn't be like, oh my days, Pro Bowl. Alec Ingold not making it at fullback with Pat Cardin. I know that Ingold's had a few drops, but I think Ingold leads the league in stats for a lot so far this season, or definitely the AFC. And then the one which makes, and again, 0 sense is on the defensive side of the ball, how Xavier Howard made it. Because again, even by his own standards, or even by his own recognition, he was like, I've had a good season, and that's probably being kind to him. So them choosing Chase over Waddle and picking Xavier Howard is kind of like they know what Xavier Howard's done over the past few seasons. So they've gone, okay, cool. Xavier Howard kind of makes it automatically. It doesn't really make any sense at all. But I think for a lot of fans at the moment, no one really cares about the Pro Bowl because there's always 1 or 2 players who make it, and you're just like, they genuinely shouldn't be there. So, listen, it's. Have you seen the?
No. I'm not done yet. I'm sorry, I can't, bro. 1,100 yards receiving. This man has someone else on the opposite side of him that has 1,500 yards receiving in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So I would have been okay if Waddle and Hill got in and Tua didn't, because then it's like, well, something has to be afoot here if Tua didn't make the Pro Bowl, but both of his receivers did, right? So now you have a 1,100-yard receiver not make the Pro Bowl with 7 touchdowns, and the person who got in over him has 200 yards less than him and 1 touchdown more than him. That's not cool. So I did just cut you off, but nah, bro, I don't like it. And then for those who are wondering about the receptions, Jamar Chase has 71 yards or 71 receptions, and Jalen Waddle has 62. It's not enough. Y'all tripping.
I also think Chase is he's not just a highlight player, but I believe his highlights are more spectacular than Jalen Waddle's. Like, Waddle has spectacular highlights. The touchdown against the Bills, that's spectacular. But I think Chase will have more ESPN moments. You know, turn on ESPN on a Monday. Have you seen what Jamar Chase has done this week? Oh my days. Yeah.
All right. Well, how about this? Jamar Chase has 11 receptions over 20 yards. Plus 20 yards receptions, 11 of them. Jalen Waddle has 18. Jamar Chase has 3 receptions plus 40 yards. Jalen Waddle, 5. Bro, there's no way you could justify this. There's no way, Craig. There's no way.
Again, I like you said, Tua not making it makes no sense. But Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, cool, fair enough. Waddle not making it and Jamar Chase making it is a bit like, okay, you are taking the mick. Like, there's no valid reason why Waddle doesn't make it outside of, in my opinion, Jamar Chase being a somewhat more recognizable name and having better ESPN highlights, whatever that is. But like I said, from the time Xavier Howard made it, I'm a bit like, yeah, you guys are just picking names out of a hat, and the only names in the hat are names that you know.
All right, so the first alternate, we're going to go through Pro Bowl alternates now. What an alternate is someone who made the Pro Bowl, doesn't play in the Pro Bowl, declines, or goes to the Super Bowl, then the alternates replace them. First alternate on the Miami Dolphins, Alec Ingold. He's the first alternate if the fullback that's elected to go to the Pro Bowl doesn't play or doesn't go or plays in the Super Bowl. Alec Ingold will be a Pro Bowler. Another first alternate, Tua Ningamanu Olipola Tagovailoa. Shout out to QB1. Oos, we see you. Another first alternate, Mr. Penguin himself, Jalen Waddle. Another first alternate, Christian Wilkins. First alternate, Bradley Chubb. And second alternate, friend of the podcast, Javon Holland. So 2 safeties would not have to accept their invitation to the Pro Bowl for Javon Holland to get in. And then you have 4th alternate in Mike Gesicki at tight end and 5th alternate at tight end. You ready for this one? Christian Wilkins. I don't know how that happened. I don't know, but that's what we got.
You mentioned Mike Gesicki. Have you seen a clip of him looking to the Knox after the Bulls game?
I did.
What did you make of it?
I think it's perfect because everyone
very quickly. I said, what do you make of it? For those who haven't seen it, Mike Gesicki speaking to Dawson Knox on the sideline after him saying, well done. And I'm once again paraphrasing, but eventually says, he essentially says, I'm glad that they're effing using you. Obviously, Dolphins Twitter has seen it. It's like, is it to distract the Dolphins? Is he unhappy? X, Y, and Z. Mike McDaniel does say in a press conference during the week, it's a failure on him, being McDaniel, to not involve Mike Gesicki more. But yeah, that's for some context for anyone who hasn't seen the clip yet.
So just like Kadeem just said, it was the post-game, handshake. Everybody's on the field. Hey, how you doing? How's the family? Good luck this season. Yada, 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 yada. So Mike Gesicki sees Dawson Knox. And for those who don't know, there's Tight End U, TEU, at the end of the season that's hosted by Greg Olsen, and I forgot another tight end that hosted. And basically almost every tight end is invited in the league, but a gang of them go to tight end. Mike Gesicki's there. You see all the tight ends in the league, most of the tight ends in the league. So you got to imagine these guys have friendships and relationships, and they chop it up in the offseason. So what I made of it, Kadeem, and I'm gonna go back to what I was saying before. I hate screenshots of someone screenshotting something of a play and a wide open receiver is on the screenshot and someone says, "Oh, he missed this." Like, bro, how do we know he missed this? What read was that in the progression? Was this the fourth read of the progression? You know what I'm saying? And everybody's screenshotting it and saying he missed something. When I'm saying it doesn't matter who's the quarterback. I'm just saying people take screenshots out of context and run with their own narrative. And I don't appreciate that. And I don't appreciate the narrative that Dolphins Twitter is running with when it comes to Mike Gesicki and Dawson Knox. Because I feel like, so Mike Gesicki says even more than that. He says, "Hey, man, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you got your money. I'm glad they're effing using you. I'm glad you get targets," or something like that. And of course, us being Dolphin fans and Dolphins Twitter is going to say, "Oh, that's a sneak diss. Mike Gesicki sneak dissing." Nah, bro. Like, he could really be happy for his friend, a genuine friend that he sees all the time, probably talks to all the time in the offseason. "Bro, you're underused. I can't wait till you get your touches." We see Mike Gesicki become the most excited person on the sideline when Durham Smythe gets a touch. We see it. We see how he acts when Durham Smythe goes off or gets a touchdown. He's the first one off the sideline to congratulate him. So this is not a sneak diss. Mike Gesicki is the teammate's teammate, bro. He is the consummate professional. And nah, man, I rock with Mike Gesicki all in all, through and through, till the wheels fall off. And it's unfortunate that we don't give him his touches and we haven't extended him long term and we don't use him the way we should.
I do believe that there is an element of him being happy that Dawson Knox gets touches, and there is a part of it's like, I'm happy you're getting your touches because I'm not. But I also think it's a case of he's not the kind of person to be knocking on Mike McDaniel's door going, "My touches." That's not him. I think he's the kind of person that's like, okay, these plays are for Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. When he gets to my plays, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to, secure my catches, and I'm going to keep it moving. There is, I don't know if you have seen this, there's a play in which Tua looks for, so Tua's on, I believe, the right hash, throws an out route to Tyreek Hill, and Twitter assistant coach or defensive coordinators have highlighted Mike Gesicki running booty butt naked down the field, and everyone's like, if Tua finds Mike Gesicki, it's a touchdown. This and doing what they do best, and the rational Dolphin fans are like, this is clear. Like, Tua's first read in this situation on the right hash is Tyreek Hill because he's in man. Mike Gesicki is probably like the third or fourth read, and as Tua throws it, there's a defender on his face.
Backside. Backside of the route too, of the whole thing. So
while Tua can, you got one, I'm not going to call him a Dolphin fan, one idiotic human, so that Tua can't, Tua fakes these reads. If Tua does progress to the third or fourth read and he gets to Mike Gesicki, Tua's on the floor and it's a sack. Tua doesn't have enough time, even with his quick processing, to get to the backside of his reads. And if anything, it's a man, the defensive playing man, he's probably comfortable with going to Tyreek Hill. It's just unfortunate that that's not a completion. But I'm sure every single incompletion, if you pause it in the right moment, you will see a player wide open down the field, because that's just how things are. It's not Madden. You can't rewind it and go again. So, yeah, a lot of Gesicki information this week.
That's one of those things where you're going to see Tua and Darrell Bevel. It is Darrell Bevel, right?
I believe so, yeah. I'll double check.
Yeah. So you're going to see Bevel, the quarterback coach, and Tua and McDaniel looking at stills. back in the day, Kadeem, there used to be actual photos. Like you flipping through the photos. Now they're just tablets. So you're going to see them looking at stills like pointing at, oh, we could do this right here. Backside Gesicki next time, if they give us the same look, instead of going progression 1, 2, 3, we'll know that this is, if we get the same look, we can look at Gesicki in the second progression or whatever. Progressions are progressions. Reads are reads. You have to go through the reads that the play calls for. You know what I'm saying? And luckily for us, like McDaniel schemed up the play where we could probably use in the same situation in another game. And now we know what works against that look. But I did something, Kadeem, that I've only done once in my life. We got this Miami Dolphin podcast, and we listen to media availability. We'll listen to a couple players talk. Shout out to friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, had a wonderful media availability the other day. This thing was gold. They asked him about his neck injury. He said, yeah, man, I had to come out with the neck roll looking like Bobby Boucher. You feel me? So, and then he had some more gold in there. They asked him about, what led to you sticking up for Tua on IG Live? And there was a lot more stuff. And just the one, I want to say it was like 15 minutes. It was gold. But that's not what I wanted to bring up. The only time, Kadeem, that I ever went to another team's media availability was when the Dolphins beat the Patriots in the Miami Miracle. It was so much good content out there that I'm like, yo, I'm soaking all of this up, all of it. And then I ran out of content to soak up. So I like, let me just go to the Patriots content. Let me go to the Patriots content and see what they said after the game. You know what I'm saying? And then I went on YouTube, and then I found this one podcast, a Patriots podcast, that said they were so upset, bro. They're like, every time we go to Miami, something fishy happens.
Let's wait until they go to Vegas to play the Raiders.
Bro, listen, it was so good, bro. It was so fulfilling, Kadeem. So I found myself the other day on the Patriots media availability because I was looking at the fail Mary, I guess, the fail miracle. You know what I'm saying? And I just had to see, because you told us what Belichick said about it. So I wanted to see it and hear it for myself. And I pressed play. And to my surprise, it was multiple players getting interviewed, which I should have been ready for. But so David Andrews, the center for the Patriots, was doing his media press, and I'm not gonna lie, it was so good. And I don't want to laugh at people's pain, but the way the reporters was asking these questions, and he would say whatever he would say. It was. I encourage every Dolphin fan to check out this one particular media availability, because it was gold for us. It was gold for us. Belichick comes in answering questions. It was classic. It was comedy, Kadeem, at its finest. And I just had to share that. So the reason I shared that is because of this. Tua addressed Bills Mafia after the game that we lost this week. And we remember the controversy around the hit that was deemed not a concussion against Buffalo, and 4 days later Tua suffered a concussion against Cincinnati. And once that happened, it was on the world stage. Amazon showed it 1 million times, as close as possible. And in response to it, Bills Mafia started contributing to the Tua Foundation. Tons and tons of contributions to Tua's foundation. And they're good for that. They done paid off people's houses doing what they do in Bills Mafia. They throw all type of money at other things. I think something happened with Carson Palmer some years back, and they looked out for Carson Palmer. It's fascinating, if I'm being honest with you, the way they rally and get behind a cause. in Bills Mafia. So Tua, we just took an L to the Bills. And he says, yo, at the end of his 20-minute press, he says, I just want to say this. Thank you to Bills Mafia. I appreciate you. You guys really showed up for me when I had my concussion, and you guys didn't have to do that. Do a whole bunch of stuff at my foundation, and I just want to show you my appreciation and all the good stuff. So I went through the comments. It's crazy how Dolphins Twitter is and Dolphin fans are, because a lot of them are on the fence about Tua. And if you look at Tua's availability, that's the hardest word I got to go through on this podcast, Kadeem. Avail. If you look at Tua's press on YouTube and go through the comments, you're not going to see that many Dolphin fans. You're going to see a gang of Buffalo fans saying how the Dolphins are going to be a problem and we're going to have a new rivalry and Tua's going to be here for a long time. That is fascinating to me, bro. Fascinating to me that our biggest rival, who for my dollar is the best team in the league, knows that we have a quarterback, but the Dolphin fans don't know we have a quarterback. I'm just saying, I needed to put that out there.
I think it's one of those things where NFL players and a lot of rival fans will turn around and go, yeah, Tua's a dude. Like, they give Tua more props than, their own fan base does, or our fan base does. But I think a lot of it is just the first two seasons of Tua, and I guess the San Fran and the Chargers loss once again kind of had people going, Tua the answer. I'm sure you do as well. There's so many Dolphins opinions, which in the nicest way possible, you just stop listening to. Because again, this season alone, we've had Tua's not it, to Tua definitely is it, to Tua's not it again. And it's just like, are we really doing this? So shout out to all the Bills fans, shout out to all the Bills fans that stop complaining about the Sun in week 2 and showing the Dolphins some love. A lot of people after that, even people like Stephen A. Smith was going, the Dolphins and the Bills, that's going to be a thing now. And that's going to be because it's going to be Tua against Josh Allen. So,
and shout out to the Bills fans that didn't throw snowballs. Like, we never addressed that. That was creep. Like, how you going to throw ice missiles at receivers trying to catch the ball? That's crazy to me.
It's funny because one after the last was probably the best atmosphere he played in. He goes, it's one of those things, he quite enjoyed it. But this is a fan base that threw a sex toy on the field. So are we really expecting them to not throw ice balls? You said you listened to a lot of availability. Did you hear what Aaron Rodgers said about Tua this week?
I didn't. So I don't listen to the other team's availability ever. But go ahead. What happened?
So once again, paraphrasing, Aaron Rodgers basically said, and actually I'm paraphrasing, like I can't just go on Google and see exactly what he said. So bear with me 2 secs. But he essentially said he enjoys the way Tua plays. Said good pocket movement, he can extend plays. Had a couple of pretty incredible 4-quarter comebacks. He said he does a nice job with his eye control for a young player. And yeah, he spoke about Tua's introduction to the not just the NFL world, but the college world and that national championship. And again, it's a player who plays the game on a Sunday, showing respect to QB1 because they know how difficult it is and they can see the talent. So listen, Aaron Rodgers against this defense and Tua against the Packers defense, it's going to be an interesting game. But I just thought it was good to hear Aaron Rodgers, throw some respect to QB1.
What's understood ain't got to be said, Kadeem. But it is what it is, man. Like, people act like quarterbacks ain't allowed to have a couple bad games or a couple bad windows. You ready for no huddle?
I am, although I'm really discombobulated. I can't find my headset.
So you're not ready for no huddle. That's all you gotta say, Kadeem.
Well, I found it. So,
but all you gotta say is I'm not ready for no huddle.
Are you ready for no huddle?
I'm actually not ready for no huddle.
So then, not just me, is it?
But I asked you if you was ready for no huddle. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, you're gonna give us the degrees in Celsius this week.
Am I?
Yes, you are.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, I don't know. I thought you had it in Fahrenheit.
Degrees in Celsius. 12 degrees.
What?
You said degrees in Celsius.
It's 12 degrees Celsius?
Yeah.
All right. So you know what that is in Fahrenheit, Kadeem?
I do.
Do you remember the formula that we use?
I know one way is to subtract 30 and divide by 2. And I think the other way is to...
No. So don't confuse the listeners. Subtracting 30 and dividing by 2 is Fahrenheit to Celsius.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember Celsius to Fahrenheit?
It's something like add 30 and times... I know it's something to do with like 1.8.
Times 1.8 and add 32.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right. So this is why Charlie Touche gets caught up when you try to times 12 by 1.8. I'm going to go with degrees and we got 12 degrees Celsius. Is it? That's pretty chilly, bro. Isn't this a home game?
It is a home game.
Nah. All right. So I'm gonna say it's 55 degrees.
I'll give that to you. It's 54, but yeah, it's chilly.
Dang, bro, it's 54 degrees.
It is, yeah.
That's crazy, bro. So again, shout out to everybody who walked with us through this Fahrenheit to Celsius and Celsius to Fahrenheit. Basically, from Celsius to Fahrenheit, you take the number, which was 12 in this case, you times it by 1.8. If you're on a podcast and you try to do it in your head and you mess up a couple times, it's okay. Just work with that person. And then you add 32 to it. And then that's how we got, it was really 54 I came up with, but I try to use my 1.5 window and I bumped it up to 55. So you should always go with your gut too, because my gut was 54. But that's how we got 54 out of that.
Perfect. And for the injury report this week, as of Thursday, Teron Armstead, River Craycraft, and Eric Fisher did not participate. Bradley Chubb was added to the injury report on Thursday with a knee injury, but speaking to media, he said he's basically okay, but definitely one to look out for. Keon Crossin, friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Phillips, Duke Riley, Eric Rowe, Durham Smythe, and Jeff Wilson were all limited. Teddy Bridgewater, Elijah Campbell, Kader Kohu were full participants, and Melvin Ingram was on the injury report for his for his vet rest on Wednesday. In terms of notable Green Bay Packers, David Bakhtiari did not participate on Thursday. Elton Jenkins was limited. Mercedes Lewis had his vet rest. He did not participate. Aaron Rodgers was on the injury report, but he was a full participant with a right thumb and rib injury. And Aaron Jones has a knee injury, but he was limited on Thursday. What do you have for easy? No, let's start with
this man going no huddle and thought we scored a touchdown there, and he didn't even need my side of the no huddle. That's wild.
I was going to go to easy money because you messed up fantasy this season. You're not
how did I mess up fantasy this season?
Are you in the playoffs?
No, I'm not in the playoffs, Kadeem.
So why are we taking fantasy advice from someone who didn't make the playoffs? That's like me giving fantasy advice. It's a waste of time. I have no standing to be giving fantasy advice. So you missed the playoffs. Why are you giving fantasy advice? Do we call Share Steve for fantasy advice? No. I'm just saying.
So Kadeem comes off the top rope on me, and then shoots and then Sherrod Steve catches a stray. This man, yo, oh man. So yeah, fantasy football. We're starting to. Matter of fact, it's almost a cold weather game. I know they're not gonna like that. I know they're not gonna like that because apparently cold weather is 50 degrees and below, and we got a 54-degree game. Oh man, like bro, this that's how you get this is what you get when you try to talk up narratives. You know what I'm saying? So this is almost a cold weather game. Tua starting, and I expect to see some really good numbers that's going to carry over the easy money for us. So Aaron Rodgers is coming in, guns blazing, trying to catch the a playoff run. He's going to need some help. So I imagine this game is going to have some points being scored. So start Tua. He's going to have some yards. He's going to have some touchdowns. We're starting Raheem Beast Mostert. And not sure how much any other running back is going to get in this game. We're going to ride until the wheels fall off. Starting Mostert, starting Jalen Waddle, starting Pro Bowl 2023 Tyreek Hill, starting. No, that's it. That's all we're starting on the Dolphins. We're not starting no other position, not starting Dolphins defense, not starting Jason Sanders. Although he's coming to even year form. Shout out to Jason Sanders. Offensive side, Green Bay side of the ball, starting Aaron Rodgers, starting Watson. What's Watson's first name? Christian Watson. Starting Watson. I'm starting both running backs. No. Ain't Dylan out? Is Dylan out?
He wasn't on the injury report, but I'll double check if he is out.
Aaron Jones is starting, and I'm starting Dylan if he's playing. So if you're in a deep league, start AJ Dillon. If you're in like a 10-team league, you don't need to start AJ Dillon. But I'm starting Watson. I'm starting Green Bay's defense, and that's all I got for no huddle. Kadeem's going to tell us if AJ Dillon is playing or not.
So AJ Dillon is playing. We'll talk about it after we do easy money.
Easy money, we ready? So if you listen to last minute locks last week, we're gonna have another last minute locks this week on Saturday, and we hit the nail on the head at the tip of the coffin. Whatever Kadeem's, whatever Kadeem.
It's not mine. I don't even try that. It's not mine.
But it's like yours, bro.
It's not mine.
So whatever that quote is that my dog messed up, man. So we hit all three. We checked off all three last minute locks, and then we hit on the easy money pick of the week last week with Tyreek Hill going over 6.5 receptions. The receptions on DraftKings are not out yet. I imagine it's going to be 6.5 again, and we're going 6.5 again for Tyreek Hill. Easy money pick of the week is Tyreek Hill going over 6.5 receptions. Not only is Tyreek Hill going to go over 6.5 receptions, he's also going to go over 87.5 yards receiving, because we're trying to catch Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is up about 93 yards on Tyreek Hill at the moment. So I think McDaniel's going to try to force feed the ball to Tyreek Hill. And you might want to put a same game parlay in where you get some Tyreek Hill receptions, a Tyreek Hill over 87.5 yards, and Tua over 1.5 touchdowns. And that'll bring back some pretty good bread. That's all I got for easy money.
So, as mentioned a second ago, AJ Dillon is playing. AJ Dillon suffered what looked like a concussion on Monday in Monday Night Football. He cleared concussion protocol on Monday, cleared on Tuesday. He's good to go on Sunday. But what we didn't discuss a few weeks ago, which we said we were.
I'm glad you brought it up, bro, because I was just about to look like, hold up, do we have this right now since we're about to talk about it? Do you have it?
I can try and find it.
I can find it for you. Well, talk it up and I'll send it back to you again.
Well, no, I was going to add it post-production because I like doing that at the moment.
That works. That works.
Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, you will see a clip of it's Devontae Parker playing for the Patriots. He's getting back up, but he's he's dazed. He's not with it. No one spots it, and one of his teammates essentially had to call or draw attention to Devontae Parker, and they stop the play. Devontae Parker get checked out. Devontae Parker takes to social media after and is like, "Yo, NFL, what's going on?" And again, not being that Dolphin fan, but when Teddy Bridgewater earlier on in the season got up and went to next snap, next play, all good, and a spotter thought he saw Teddy Bridgewater stumble, which no one else did. Teddy Bridgewater missed the rest of the game for a concussion, which he didn't have, but the spotters can't spot Devontae Parker clearly concussed on the field. And Dolphins fans saying that AJ Dillon, glad he's not concussed, glad he's able to play on Sunday, but having seen Dolphins players miss a game, earlier on this season for what wasn't a concussion, but other players seem to be totally fine, it's a bit messed up.
So, yeah, we pro CTE awareness on this podcast. Probably the only Miami Dolphins podcast out there that has a CTE awareness episode annually. Listen, I seen, and I think it's the tight end for the Raiders, and I believe his name is Foster Moreau or Monroe. I think it's Moreau. And he got hit in the game. And he stumbled. He froze, dropped the ball, and came to within seconds. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's out of there. Get him out of there. And no one spotted it, bro. I'm like, how can we see it on the TV, and which is the spotters are watching the same exact thing, and they don't spot this? But then you get Devontae Parker. Forget everything that we discussed about. Do we like Parker? Are we glad he's a Dolphin or not? Forget all of that. This is someone's health. Parker takes a shot. It's a no huddle situation. It's a hurry up offense. Parker is gone. He is grits. He is concussed. Although we do not have no type of degree in health, he's gone. And he gets up. He's stumbling. Got the Bambi legs going. And Nelson Aguilar points at him like, yo, this is bad. And no one stops the game. No one even sees Parker stumbling around. Refs don't see it. Spotters don't see it. So much so that he makes it back to the formation because they're running no huddle. And he's on the line. And his legs are spread out like 3 yards apart. Like he can't even stand up. So Nelson Aguilar is in a slot in his position pointing at Parker like, yo, this is messed up. Almost like he doesn't want to get a penalty for being out of formation. And if I'm being honest with you, Kadeem, I would have loved to see Nelson Aguilar stop the game himself, walk over to the referee and point at Parker like, yo, get this man off the field. And that would have really been a big deal. So I'm not sure who stops it or when they stop it. It looked like there was a timeout called. Nelson Aguilar is mad, walks over to Parker, holds him around his waist, and walks Parker off the field. And then Parker took to Twitter, and that's just unacceptable from the NFL. Unacceptable. So then now, just like Kadeem just said, you have a situation where there are Dolphin players who were not concussed, didn't even display any symptoms or signs, but yet missed a week and a half. Like, it sounds pretty fishy to me.
Parker's still out this week with a concussion. Like, this is it's one of the situations where we're not trying to. Like, I'm glad that eventually got sorted. The NFL and the NFLPA are now looking into it. But this spotter situation had been bad all season. And, just imagine anything else happened to Devontae Parker. Bearing in mind the kerfuffle around Tua non-concussion against Buffalo and thing, the Parker thing's been dead silent.
Silent.
Like, media aren't talking about it. So, yeah, obviously we wish Devontae Parker a speedy recovery. I doubt we see him again the rest of the season. And it's shout out to Nelson Aguilar for looking out for one of his teammates. Very quickly, on a brighter note, did you see the Terry McLaurin flag for Washington?
Oh, yeah, I did. I did, bro.
So
am I good? Am I good? That's what I thought of when I seen it. I thought of you saying, am I good?
for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's like what? The very end of the game, Washington are like the 1 yard line. Scary Terry lines up, looks at the ref. Am I good?
Points at him. Good? Am I on the line?
Referee says, yes, all good. Ball snaps. I haven't got a flag on me. Flag. Offside. 17. And he's like, yo, like, I checked. Are we good? Yeah. I literally, and yeah, they back up Washington. I believe Washington lose that game.
So it's the end of the game. You probably have 2 plays left. I think matter of fact, you might have 1 play left. This is the end of the game. This is it. This is it for all the marbles, fame and the glory right here. And Terry McLaurin lines up, and there's going to be a motion, and he wants to be the receiver on the line, so there's not an illegal formation. That's the thing. So when this motion receiver comes over, one has to be on the line, one has to be off the line. So McLaurin points at the ref, hey, am I good? I need to be on the line. The ref actually says, because Terry tells us this, move up some. And he moves up some. McLaurin moves up some, and the ref gives him the thumbs up. The motion happens. He snaps the ball, and as soon as the ball snapped, the ref throws the flag, illegal formation. Nah, bro, you weren't on the line. Like, and McLaurin was like, bro, I just pointed at you and asked you if I was good. He said, nah. Very next play, they backed him up, was the pass interference that was not called, where dude was draped all over the Washington receiver, and that pass interference didn't get called. But yeah, I don't know why you brought this up, but yeah, that's what happened, Kadeem.
Only more just referees being.
Oh yeah, hey, Spotters is kind of spotty right now, ain't it?
100%, and I would assume that they generally look at it, try and clean up for next season, because something needs to give. 100%.
Y'all know what time it is. Come on over to bonus time. Stay tuned. Follow us this weekend on all social media platforms at Go Time Dolphins. Make sure you get your last minute locks in there. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time.
Already. They mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time.
Hey, what do y'all call it? Oatmeal or porridge?
Porridge.
Or is grits or porridge?
So we don't have grits. No, so you can get grits, but we have porridge. I'm sorry, why are you laughing?
Who in this country eats grits?
For those who can't hear, my fiance in the background says, who in this country eats grits?
Y'all don't eat grits?
No. The first time I heard of grits was the Jill Scott song,
Grits.
Yes. That was the first time I heard grits. Jill Scott sang it like it was the best thing in the whole entire world. I'm like, yo, she's singing that with passion. And I heard that's nasty. I heard it's nasty. So
Hold up. Is it the way?
Yeah.
Is it the way? But nah, grits is straight. Throw some cheese in it.
Make it sound even worse.
But that's not the first time you heard it, because you heard it on Outkast. Fish and grits. And if you like fish and grits and all that pimp, yes. Everybody let me hear you say, oh yeah, yeah. But anyway.
Fish and chips, man. Fish and chips.
Fish and chips, not fish and grits.
As William Hayes said, we need some good fish and chips over here in the UK.
Friend of the podcast, William Hayes.
I'm straight.
Bradley Chubb. You got a stat for us on Bradley Chubb, Kadeem?
I do. So, the Miami Dolphins, prior to signing Bradley Chubb, had 15 sacks in 8 games. With Bradley Chubb, so after trading for him, they have 20 sacks in 6 games. So, for everyone who says that Bradley Chubb is a bust, Bradley Chubb has added nothing to the Miami Dolphins. It's clear that the Dolphins are generating more pressure with Bradley Chubb on the defensive line. This is obviously without Emmanuel Ogbah. The secondary is getting more and more beat up every single week. But the addition of Bradley Chubb has, whether people want to admit it or not, has allowed the likes of Jalen Phillips, Christian Wilkins, and Zach Sealer to essentially go off. And those three dudes are dudes by themselves. But it's a pick your, if you're the offensive line, it's pick your poison. Someone has to get double teamed, and let's be honest, I genuinely believe that each player commands a double team by itself. So unless you have an offensive line which has 8 people, someone's going to get 3.
So just to be clear, Dolphins had how many sacks before Bradley Chubb?
15.
15 sacks total before Bradley
15
Chubb.
sacks total, yeah.
And how many? And 20 sacks after Bradley Chubb. So 35 total sacks after Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
That's insane. And yeah, man, that's just like the Ndamukong Suh effect. You would have liked to see triple teams going Ndamukong Suh and everybody else get off. But now what you got is Bradley Chubb gets on the team, and then Wilkins and Sealer and everybody else gets off. So it's working. Chubb might not be getting these touches, but these sacks. But yeah, everybody else is. Y'all just seen.
You got Pennyworth with you. Pennyworth, yeah.
No, man.
Pennyworth just made an
That's
appearance.
the Rugrats. The Rugrats came in the background, man. They seen the balloons, only the balloons. They thought it was It the Clown.
Before you go play with the Rugrats and trying to play Pennyworth, what's your score prediction for this weekend?
Score prediction for this weekend is Miami Dolphins 27, Green Bay 20.
I am going to go Miami Dolphins 30, Green Bay 20. I'm going to 23. Green Bay 23. It's a Christmas Day game. Tyreek Hill said he's got a special Christmas Day celebration if he's got a touchdown. So hopefully we see it.
Oh, I didn't know that. We're putting that in last minute locks. That's going in last minute locks. Hey, listen. Merry Christmas, you 50 animals.
I was gonna sign off and say like a little Merry Christmas to all our Dolphin fans, and you just had to.
Nah,
listen,
bro. Everybody knows where that came from.
And I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying I was gonna have like a nice little message. Christmas holidays. Enjoy your Christmas.
But do you know where that came from, Kadeem?
I'm gonna guess Home Alone.
Very good, Junior Grasshopper.
Very, very quickly. What's your Christmas meal?
Nah, I ain't no Christmas meal. It's whatever the OG cook up.
What, turkey, chicken?
Yeah, it's turkey. I don't eat ham, but there's ham, there's turkey, there's macaroni and cheese. Not out the box, the actual macaroni and cheese out the oven. You throw it in the oven. Yeah, it's very similar to Thanksgiving, actually.
Well, I think that's the closest we get to Thanksgiving meal, our Christmas. Turkey, macaroni, cheese, stuffing, pigs on blanket.
Real quick, yes or no on what is it? What's the cranberry sauce?
No.
I didn't even get to answer.
No.
I don't mind. I'm not a massive I wouldn't turn it down. I wouldn't be like, yeah, give me cranberry sauce,
bro. It messes up the whole plate, bro. You got to have it on its own separate plate, or else it's gonna juice into everything else. Like everything is gonna be contaminated by the cranberry sauce. I'm good on the cranberry sauce, bro.
Let us know in the comments what your Christmas meal is, everyone.
Oopsie.